Hey everybody, hope you're all having a great day. Hey, in this video we're going to cover the difference between a work order and a service ticket. And for the most part, it's really very simple. Contractor Foreman's a very flexible system that allows you to use them in a different way. But in general, and that's what we're going to cover in this video, a work order is for jobs that last, say, less than a week, bit more than a day. That might vary for your company depending on how you're set up, and we're going to cover some of those differences. But a service ticket is used when the job lasts a day or less. So we're going to cover that here in just a minute, but that's the kind of basic, easy explanation. Work order, more than a day, less than a week. Service ticket, less than a day. So let's just jump on in here and cover a few things. I'm going to jump back to the project screen here shortly, but first we're going to go into work orders. So a work order, very kind of simple form. If you are a user of Contractor Foreman, you just fill out the fields here, remembering that it's only a required field where you have the red asterisk. So very little is required, and we're going to cover how to create that project here in just a moment, and a very, very quick and easy way to do that. You got your build to approved by, so this is if you send it over to a company who approved it, your customer, your client. You've got a select response, type and drawing. You might not use that field, and that's fine. If you need to leave it blank, because you're not going to use it, a blank field in Contractor Foreman will not show up on the PDF. So you're not going to see an empty field on your PDF for type or drawing. Location status, same thing. If you're not using it, although you should be using the statuses. You can assign this to somebody. Description of the work, that is a required field, and it's basically an unlimited field. Terms and conditions, you set those up under company settings, and then the terms will show up here. But mainly, I don't want to spend too much time on the top part there, because what we want to cover is just a quick way to do a work order on that job that is only going to take less than a week. You can simply add your items down here, whatever you need to add, just like an estimate. So we're going to add items. So I can add that manually. I can import from an estimate. Maybe you do want full-on job costing. In that case, you're going to create the estimate, then just import the items in. So very little typing. You're just going to fill out the top part, import from an estimate. You've got your work order done. I can import from my cost item database. So 3 very quick ways. If I use the manual work order item, it just brings me up my box, just like the estimating pop-up box, item name, select the type, etc. I can even assign that to a subcontractor. So I can even sub out items from my work order. So again, those are for those jobs that are typically going to last less than a week. Now, I want to jump back up to the project, because that's what I said we're going to jump back to here real quick. Yes, you're probably going to create a project, but in these cases where you're using the work order, you're just going to simply give it the 4 required fields: customer, project ID, project name, and type. And that's it. You don't have to fill all this out. You don't need to. Too short of a job to get off into the weeds on the details and spend a bunch of time creating that. So you're just going to leave really all that blank. Sure, you can load up some files and photos if you want, but you're not really going to take the time to do a schedule. You can if you want. Might use messaging on the job. But the main point is here, you're going to create a work order. You are going to create the job, but it's so simple. What does that take? Less than 2 minutes. Well, it takes me 2 minutes and a half. I type slow. But you do have things like customer already entered. So you're going to simply create the project, create the work order, run your job like you're normally going to run it. Do your time cards. Got a change order? Great. Purchase order, order materials? Great. Work order or subcontracts? Not a problem. So just a quick, easy way to do those smaller jobs. Now let's jump over to the service ticket. Remember in the beginning I said service tickets are for a job that lasts a day or less. So let's jump into there. And one of the main reasons that these are different also than a work order is if you notice down here, project. That's not a required field. You don't have to create a project. The job is just too short to mess with doing a bunch of redundant data entry, adding in a bunch of stuff that you're never going to need. A lot of systems, similar to Contractor Foreman, absolutely require you to follow a prescribed method for running all jobs. Contractor Foreman, we're not going to force you to do that. We're going to keep it simple, quick, and easy. So again, I'm not going to go in, this isn't a training video on service tickets, but just service, date and time, customer, project. You can, it's optional. Who's going to be assigned to that? You can do multiple people. Going to give it a title. What are they going to be doing when they're there? Some service notes. You do have a check in and check out, and this is great for tracking time on the job. However, you're typically, and it's advisable to also use a time card. Got your customer information. Remember, that is a security-based field, so it can be turned off for certain roles. But just standard fields. The service ticket, what are we going to be doing? Now, in these fields, you can either have the person out in the field fill this out. You can leave these line items blank and come in and have the office do it later. Your billing is going to track any invoices. It's going to track your payments for you, and history. How many previous service tickets have we done for this customer? Now, one of the last things that I want to show you, and it's the same way on both a service ticket and a work order. This is why it's so easy. We're done with our service ticket. We've got it all filled out. We're done with the work. Put our time in there. I don't have to come up here, waste my time creating an invoice, click, 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 type, type, type. I'm just going to come down here, click, create, modify invoice. It's going to fill everything out for me. I'm done. That's less than a minute to finish that. It's the exact same thing with a work order. Let me jump to work order. I saved it. Come down to my action box. There's create, modify invoice. So again, super fast, super easy way to run those smaller type jobs. Thanks everybody. Hope that helped. Give us a holler if you'd like to get a training or just got any questions. And remember, you do have the live chat up here. It's a great way to get those quick questions answered. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.